Hello and good evening or good day, wherever you are listening to this show. My name is Craig and this is Loki Luck the Third's #1 podcast, the very first one to be exact. And I decided to be abbreviated to, just in case, LL3. So today, my very first podcast, the topic I want to discuss is our U.S. Bill of Rights, which is the most essential document in United States history, and it needs to be preserved today, tomorrow, and forever. The main idea on a U.S. Bill of Rights is tell the government what these rights you cannot tread on. No compromise, no exceptions. Alright, enough of the small talk, and let's start. And this is from the website Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, which you can look at on the Bill of Rights section on jpfo.org. And one great thing about it, it has a lot of good history, and they had broader foresight, because the tyranny they suffered, they don't want to see it happening again in the future, because the past is today's greatest teacher. Alright, let's just start it off with the preamble to the Bill of Rights, which states, Congress of the United States begun and held at the city of New York on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 1789. The conventions of a number of the states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution and expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. And as extending the ground public confidence in the government will be best ensured the beneficent end of this institution. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled 2/3 of both houses concurring that the following articles be proposed to the legislators of the several states as amendments to the Constitution of the United States, all of any of which articles, when ratified by 3/4 of the said legislators, to be valid all intent and purposes as part of the Constitution, viz. articles in addition to an amendment of the Constitution of the United States of America proposed by Congress and ratified by the legislators of the several states pursuant to the 5th article of the original Constitution. It's really, really interesting because they'll give you everything rundown from the original document of the U.S. Constitution. That's not a democracy. It's a republic. Because a democracy is majority plus one. However, this particular assessment is mainly 2/3 from both House and the Senate, and 3/4 of the state within the Union to get this ratified. Alright, we'll just keep on going over here. I'll look at Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, which really means government can neither impose a state religion upon you nor punish you for exercising the religion of your choice. You may express your opinions, write and publish what you wish, gather peacefully with others, and formally ask government to correct injustices. So the main idea, they can't tell you what God you want to worship or your creed, plus compromise on your free speech, whether you're criticizing the government or not, or the press, etc. And no permits to peaceably to assemble. That's called a privilege. These are rights. And we'll head down to Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Individuals, quote, the people, unquote, have the right to own and use weapons without interference from the government. Concealed weapons permits waiting periods. Anyone that's can't be deprived on owning arms, rather their race, color, or creed, or any individual, as long as you honor that right. You should never have get permission from the state, whether it is federal, state, or local. Alright, let's get hit to amendment number 3. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in the manner to be prescribed by law. That means government cannot force you to house its agents. Rather, it's the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, as those are examples, INS, ATF, etc. Unacceptable. If they don't like it, too bad. You tell them, read the Third Amendment. Alright, and here's amendment number 4. The right of the people to be secured in their persons, houses, papers, and effects, which that means property, against unreasonable search and seizure, shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath, affirmation, and particularly describe the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. It means you may not be arrested or detained arbitrarily. No agency of government may inspect or seize your property or possessions without first obtaining a warrant. To obtain a warrant, they must show specific cause for search or seizure and swear under oath that they are telling the truth about these reasons. Furthermore, the warrant itself must state specifically and in detail the place, things, or people it covers. The warrants that are too general or vague are not valid. Searches and seizures that exceed the terms of the valid warrant are not valid. That means no sealed warrants. That means they can't just come in here anytime they want to break in your home and just search whatever they want, nor stop or frisk. I know it's been happening a lot in New York City, but everyone has to say, hell no. In addition, if you get stopped, from a traffic stop, even if the officer says, may I ask to search your vehicle, refuse to consent, because why give these people more ammunition? Nothing against the police officers, but what they're being trained to do is get brownie points, and you're actually becoming more like deputies of Notting Hill. And I say that in respect. Amendment number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That means no one outside the military may be tried for a serious crime without first being indicted by a grand jury of citizens. Once found not guilty, a person may not be tried again for the same deed. You can't be forced to be a witness or provide evidence against yourself in a criminal case. You can't be sent to prison or have your assets seized without due process. The government can't take your property without paying market value of it. Fact, they cannot take your home or take your property without market value. That's plain and simple. You cannot be detained and get tried by a secret tribunal group. Unacceptable. Allied Patriot Act and of course Section 1021 of the NDAA. Look it up. You'd be surprised. If everyone said you have nothing to hide, I'm sorry. You go by your Bill of Rights. Nothing else. Let's hit amendment number 6. In all criminal prosecutions, The accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusations, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have assistance of counsel for his defense. What does that mean? Trials cannot be unreasonably postponed or held in secret. In any criminal case against you, you have a right to a public trial by a jury of unbiased citizens, thus ensuring that the state can't use a quote party line unquote judge to railroad you. The trial must be held in the state or region where the crime was committed. It cannot be held without charges. It cannot be held on charges that are kept secret from you. You have a right to know who is making accusations against you and to confront those witnesses in court. You have the right to subpoena witnesses to testify in your favor and the right to the services of an attorney. Right to counsel. Full disclosure if you're being accused of a crime. Alright, number 7. Amendment 7, that is. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of a trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. That means the right to trial by a jury extends to civil as well as criminal cases. Once a jury has made its decision, no court can overturn or otherwise change that decision except via accepted legal processes. For instance, granting of a new trial when an appeals court determines that your rights were violated in the original proceedings. And I like when it says in there, in the last sentence, last few words, is common law. What really scratches my head, when you go to the courtroom or in the courthouse, when you see those gold ridges around the American flag, it actually represents British maritime law. So when you go in there, and observe this and look it up, okay, do your research on British maritime law. I would ask that judge, are we under common law or British maritime law? You have your facts as well. Because the more people do this, you'll be clogging the system and